What's going on, everybody? This video we're going to be talking about the new pricing that ATAS just released for their platform, and I'm going to tell you guys what you can do and how you can create a workspace with even just their Plus plan. I'm also going to provide promo codes for you guys for a discount if you guys want to get the Plus, the Pro, or the Ultra plans. So starting off with their new plans, their new structure here, I believe if you guys watch my daily live stream, I believe you will be able to fit that workspace that I have on the daily live stream into the Plus plan. And the Plus plan, for the most part, is what most traders will be using. But if you need a little bit more, you can go to the Pro or the Ultra. If you guys sign up for a year, the Plus plan is only going to run you about 20 euros a month. If you sign up for the lifetime, it's about 1,000 euros, which is honestly a pretty good deal for platforms like this. So for the Plus plan, you are going to get pretty much everything you need. When it says right here, futures data with a 15-minute delay, I do not believe that is when you plug in your own data. I believe that's the data that they provide with the platform. You guys can correct me in the comments, but I believe if you tie in your Rhythmic data, which we like to use our Rhythmic data from our Apex account, I believe it is still live. But if you guys are having an issue with that and you're still getting a delay, please let me know in the comments. With the Plus plan, you'll get one active connection. You'll have 6 unique stock exchange assets for simultaneous analysis. So I believe that means you can pull up like 6 different charts at once. You can have 6 indicators per chart, which that's more than enough for most people. 7 days of big trades, like I said, more than enough. You're going to get that market replay and the following manager. If you want a more descriptive breakdown of what you get per plan, here is a better breakdown. Like I said, the 15-minute delayed, I don't believe that is when you tie in your data. I think it says connect real-time futures data via these brokers. And like I said, Rhythmic is the one that we use. So I think you'll still get real-time data if you are connecting to these brokers. You have one connection on the Plus plan. And then this is the confusion that a few people were having. Down here, it says that you cannot have order flow or cumulative trades or volume. This is for the specific charts, and I'll show you that when we get to our workspace. This doesn't mean that you don't have access to order flow or delta charts. It just means if you're using, instead of candlesticks, you're using a delta breakdown, like a delta bar by bar. That's what it means. And we don't really use that in my day-to-day workspace. So we'll show you that here in a minute or so. Number of indicators, like I said, 6, cumulative delta. So there you go. Market profile TPO, we use that. Order flow. See, this is what I was talking about. So you are still getting order flow. You are still getting delta. You're just not getting the ability to chart them instead of candlesticks. You're still getting access to big trades. You're still getting access to the tape, the DOM, the trading panel. Pretty much everything you would need, you are still getting access to in the Plus plan. So let me show you guys, actually right before we show you my workspace, I will give you guys some promo codes. If you guys would like to sign up, you get 50% off the Plus plan with this code right here, the WQ code. If you're not signing up for Plus and you're signing up for the Pro or the Ultra, you can get a 7% off plan, or sorry, a 7% off code with that X6M code. And that one is recurring. The 50% off Plus plan is only the first time. Now, I believe you can use that on the year or the 3 months or the 6 months, but it's only on that first subscription. After that, it will fall off. Okay. But all right, now that you guys have that promo code, let's talk about the actual workspace. So this is the workspace that I like to use on our daily live stream. And I believe, like I said, you guys can correct me in the comments, but I believe you can replicate this pretty much 100% on that Plus plan. You might need the Pro plan for some of it. But for the most part, I think you can replicate it with that Pro plan. So what I'm doing is I have 2 1-minute charts I typically run. Then I have like a 5 or 15 or a 1-minute chart that I run up here. I have a 30-minute chart that is a delta chart, and I'll go into the details here in a second. I have a tape, I have another tape, and then another tape. These are filtered differently. So this is filtered by 25, This is filtered by 100, and this is filtered by, I believe, let me double check. This is my NASDAQ tape. This one is filtered by 10 contracts. Down here, we have a market profile and TPO. And then finally, I have a DOM. We have got a DOM with a couple of custom changes to it. Okay, so starting off with the top left here, as we showed on the pricing, let me go back to that pricing really quick. You can only have, where was it? 6 indicators per chart. Now, I do have 10 indicators here. I'm not using all 10. Realistically, I am using the VWAPs, where's the big trades? The big trades, the stacked and balanced, so that's 4 indicators, and then the cumulative delta, so 5 indicators. All the other things that I have here, they're not really used the entire time. So you can get away with 5 to 6 indicators per chart. Now, if you guys want my settings on these, I'll quickly show them so you guys can copy it. Here is the big trades indicator, so filtered for 300 on ES. Here is the stacked and balanced indicator. Here are my 2 VWAPs. One is set for the 9:30 open, one is set for the full session. And then here is my cumulative delta. And if you want to throw an EMA on that delta, you can throw on the EMA as well. If you guys want to copy my EMAs, very simple. I just have the 8 EMA and the 24 EMA. And the chart below it is identical. The chart below it is for NASDAQ. The chart on the top is for ES. This chart doesn't really have any indicators. I typically just use this chart to showcase like levels we're keeping an eye on. This is the one that I kind of draw on. If you guys watch my live stream, I typically draw examples on that chart. This one is probably the most complicated chart that I have. And same thing, I have 10 indicators here, but realistically, I'm only using the cluster search indicators and the candle stats and big trades. So maybe like 4 or 5 indicators. If you guys want to copy my settings for the delta chart here, here are the cluster settings. I have one for positive and one for negative. So negative 200 and positive 200. And then here are the rectangles down here if you want to visualize them the same way. What's the other one? This one is the big trades, 300 contracts, same as my other one. This one's set to diamond. And that is pretty much it. I actually do use this color bar as well. If you want to color your bars based on one time framing, when it's breaking the candle high, not breaking the low, that would be yellow. If it's breaking the candle low, not the high, that would be purple. If it's breaking both sides of the candle, that would be my teal. And then the other one was the candle stats. So here's the candle stats one that I like to use. I typically just show the volume and the delta. By the way, if you guys are enjoying this content, hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe. If you guys have any questions about ATAS, feel free to put them in the comments and I will go over them. So moving on to the tapes here, tape settings. I have it filtered for 25 contracts. This is my ES tape. I believe all this is default, but I'll show you anyway. And then I have an alert for any big trades coming in, so 300 and 1,000. Same exact tape, but this one's filtered for only things trading over 100. This is what I call my large tape. Everything else is the same. And then this one is my NASDAQ tape. This one is filtered for 10 contracts. And I recommend filtering your tapes because you don't want to see those high frequency trading bots that are just flooding the tapes. They basically make them impossible to read. I can't really show you guys my settings on the DOM because this is like completely customized. ATAS lets you customize like every little detail on their DOMs. So you guys would have to play with your DOM if you want to match it. One thing I can show you, let me try to get into the settings here. It's hard to get into the settings because I have like all the settings hidden. Yeah, I can't really get into the settings here. Let me double check that I didn't just put in some orders. The trading should be blocked. That's the problem with the DOM is when you try to play with the, like if I right click this, it's going to try to place an order. So you got to be careful with the DOM. But if you are trying to copy my settings, the left is a profile for today, a volume profile for just today. The right is a weekly profile. Everything else is the same. Last but not least is one of my favorite things on ATAS here. I have the market profile and TPO indicator. So this indicator, it's in the indicator section. You want to pull up market profile and TPO. And the settings are a bit complicated, so I will show you all the settings. So it's starting at 9:30, it's ending at 5 p.m. Profile type is volume. TPO characters, make sure you have all your characters set. This is a very important setting. If you want your TPOs to look like mine, I have it set to 8 ticks, which is equal to 2 points. And then if you want to change your colors of your TPOs, you have to go into the colors here and change them one by one. So I have my first 3 colored, and then I have my last one colored. And in between, they're all the same. Other than that, I think my settings are pretty much default. I have my initial balance set up as well. But for the most part, everything else is default. Make sure if you want to match mine, like I said, that's the most important setting, is how big the TPOs are. And then I also have this initial balance indicator, which shows you where the extensions are. So I have the 100% and 200% extensions marked out. And what that does is, if you have an initial balance breakout, it marks out my extension levels. 100% and 200% of that initial balance. And that is pretty much it. One more chart that I have is this one here for the full day profile. If you like visualizing the profiles once they're fully closed. And I can show you my settings on that one as well. Oh, and I forgot one major thing for my delta chart. I'll go back and show you that here in a second. I almost forgot the most important part. So here's my market profile and TPO settings for the full day one. Make sure it's set to daily and profile, and that is pretty much all you need. Everything else is pretty much default. Yeah, let me go back here. I almost forgot the most important part. So for this, if you want to match this, you have to go into your settings, go into cluster settings, and here are my cluster settings for this chart. I have 2 footprints. I have the additional footprint turned on and the regular footprint turned on. The regular footprint is set to delta, full row, and then here are the colors. And then the additional is set to volume profile on mode, no content, color scheme is heat map by delta, and then here is the heat map. I chose the really dark red and green. The upper cutoff is set to 60%, and contrast is all the way down. And then we have the border type on candle. Everything else is default. And here are my visual settings if it matters, but I believe these are pretty much default. And that should be it. If I forgot anything, please let me know in the comments, and I'll go back and show you those settings in either a later video or the live stream. Once again, if you guys want to sign up, here are those codes again. If you guys enjoyed this content, hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace, everybody.